Hey New York, what's up? It's your Uncle Ricky. We need to have a little chat. No, I'm only kidding with you. This is Mountie Carl, and today we're introducing to you a new series called Division Talk. This series is going to focus on discussing the current issues and other fun factoids that are currently at the forefront of the player base. So today, we're going to go ahead and start discussing the current state of exploits and glitches in the game. Because right now, there are two camps. Those who use glitches and exploits and those who are getting left behind and are mad and are saying that all exploiters and glitchers should be banned. So let's get this out of the way. Ubisoft isn't banning anyone for using glitches or exploits. Let's face it, it's their fault. It's their fault for putting in such terrible code. It's not their fault for making a game that has glitches, but it's their fault for putting in code that is absolutely terrible. And then when somebody finds it and not fixing it, they're not fixing it. They're putting a Band-Aid over it and not doing anything about it. Putting a Band-Aid on something isn't going to stop the bleeding when it's a friggin' bullet wound. Like, let's take the incursion, because right now the incursions are the gigantic things that are really doing it. So they may eventually ban somebody, but, when they're not banning actual hackers who are using hacks to teleport and just kill people instantly and kill entire servers, they're not going to ban regular people who are just using an exploit. Now, you've seen us post glitches on and exploits on my channel, and we do this to inform the general player base of these glitches, as well as so that you can keep ahead of those people who are absolutely abusing them and using them to their advantage. We want everybody to have a fair gain, and whether you think it's a moral dilemma or something like that, nobody cares. Guess what? God isn't coming down and striking you down with lightning because he thinks you're a cheater at a game. Guess what? In 20 years, this game won't even be around. Nobody will remember the Division. So 20 years from now, everything you're doing now doesn't even matter. So let me just say this. Now, my background is in gaming QA, and I started out in gaming QA, and I worked for Sega, I've worked for Sony, Midway, you name it. I've worked on some of the best and the brightest in the gaming industry, and various other game developers. I've worked at publishers, I've worked at game developers. It's both sides of the coin. And if you need a job in the game industry testing games, hit me up, because I can get you a job. I can get you started. I can send you the information. I may even post a video about it so that you guys can get into the game industry and start making money playing video games instead of sitting at home doing it. Because people will pay you to play it. I mean, it's not a whole lot of money, but, people will pay you to play it. And maybe I should. It'll help you out. Anyways, back on topic, because that was completely off topic. There is one glitch that stands out because it happened right after the incursions, and that was the ability to go into the incursion and use the mobile shield to pass through the wall. That's a huge glitch, especially when they saw that you could pass through a door, you pass through. Right now, I can pass through almost anything in the world as long as I can put a shield on the other side of it. I have my timing down pat. And I'm not using it for that purpose, but I'm using it to kind of explore stuff. I've already looked at the new incursion. Maybe I'll show you a little snippet of that later on. But anyways, if you need a great video, so I didn't post a glitch of the incursion because I was too busy in the dark zone trying to get my level up to 75, because they made this stupid thing where they had an M1A and the AUG, both high end, both level 204, which gear score, our next division chat's going to be on that crap, because gear score absolutely means nothing. It's a zero-sum way of making crap up and putting a score with something that doesn't even have value. Like, I've seen level 163 guns that are better than 204 guns. So anyways, next video we'll talk about that crap and how, whoever thought of that needs to be fired. So anyways, I was busy in the dark zone getting up to level 75, which I did. And did I do it legitly? For the most part. let's go ahead and just get it out of the way. I maybe did like maybe the last 5 levels. I was just trying to get out of the way, and so I went and I needed to record the video to show people how to do it. And so I just went back there. I did it a couple times and showed my friends how to do it so that they could get 75 as well. Because let's face it, people wanted those blueprints, and the only way they were going to get there, because of the trudgery and the grind, was to go ahead and use exploits. And let me tell you, people who are like, oh, you're using exploits, it's not fun, it's boring. Like, believe me, I'd rather be doing anything than sitting back there shooting somebody and then waiting for a timer to go down. It's boring stuff. Nobody wants to do it. People are doing it so they can stay ahead and actually be competitive in the Dark Zone. Ubisoft has made the game that way. And let me tell you, the way that you level up right now is absolutely horrible. They make it so that people who are at the top are the people who are doing it. Like, so anyways, people who do the exploit and the glitches, they're the ones at the top. And they're the ones going rogue, and the fastest way to get your level up is to go rogue. So, let's go ahead and get back on topic really quick. And I have a great way to level up super fast. It's a level guide. It's legit for those people who don't have, who have a moral dilemma about doing this stuff. I have a legit guide. I'll post a copy here. I don't know. Anyways, so recently on Reddit, the Ubisoft forums, various places where the Vision is represented, we're seeing an outcry by the vocal minority that the exploiters and the glitchers should be banned or punished. Now, there are various reasons for being upset by glitchers, and it's a laundry list ranging from unfair advantage in the Dark Zone to just getting outgeared by people who are now in the 220 to 240 bracket. And for this, I'm neutral. I'm on one side of I'm on the middle of the fence, because one, I need to show glitches and exploits on my channel because A, I want you guys to have them, and B, I want Ubisoft to fix them. But as a QA tester way back in the day, it was my goal to find the glitches and various other bugs that makes me quite good at finding the glitches right now. Once you learn to play a game like this, you're always looking for it. But Mountie Carl, why did Ubisoft QA not find these things? Well, that's a few reasons. The first being that the QA team's been looking at the game for so long that they're used to a certain way of playing it. We call this the tunnel vision. You're going into the game and you're just kind of looking at it and you're doing the same thing over and over again. It takes a really good QA tester to be able to do something differently each time. But most of the emphasis is going through the game. My job in the QA department was really to play the game from front to back and get through it as fast as possible, and find any bugs along the way. I was basically the storyline progression tester for most part, and I was really good at it because I could speed through a game and get done, and that's what they had me do. And then I go back through and look at some of the bugs. And so once you start playing a game that way, you tend to play it that way, and plus you have what we call bug regression. So once they get a new build, they have to go through the bug regression and test all the old bugs, and that takes time too. So when you're trying to put out a game, you have a minimal amount of time to go through this stuff. Not to mention, there's probably only a handful of people at Massive doing this. There's probably like, 10, 15 people. They may have more, but usually the maintenance department, which is people who maintain the game, usually gets cut in half from the development portion. So if they had 30 testers during development, they only have like maybe 10 or 15 right now, and if that. Most developers don't have money to pay testers. So let's face it, Ubisoft in San Francisco is probably doing the majority of the testing, and the iota of all of these glitches and exploits lie on them. Well, the fact is, 30 people is maybe 1% of the amount of people that are actually playing, and that's probably even giving it quite a bit more. It's probably like 0.00001. So you're really looking at a small player base, and the more people that play it, the more stuff you're going to find. That's why we find all these glitches in GTA. Not to mention there are people that are out there trying to find them. And, to do a glitch, all you got to do is basically, it's like finding a shirt with a thread on it, and you pull it, and it just keeps coming undone. And that's really how you do it. And part of my motto when I was game testing was, you got to make your own bugs. And it was basically going through the game and doing stuff that a normal gamer wouldn't do. Like, I'll give you an example. When I was testing Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, there was a level that you could go through, and you would throw the vampire enemies in the water, and their souls would just stay down there. And you could keep doing that because the respawn would just keep respawning them. You'd throw them down there. Same thing happened over and over again until you had maybe 50 to 100 souls down there. And then you go down there in the, whatever the nether realm is. It's been like 15 years. I'm dating myself by saying that I was a tester back on that game. But you would go down into the pit and suck up all the souls and it'd crash the game. No gamer playing the game is going to take the time to throw people into a pit and then suck up all the souls. Nobody's going to do that. But that's what we did. We were testers. And so so back to the bug regression thing. People have bug regression, so that takes time, and maybe half of them are doing bug regression looking for old bugs. There's probably like 200 or 300 bugs that they're going through to make sure that some of them are fixed. They're hitting the major A bugs first, they're going to the B bugs, and then maybe if they have time, the C bugs, and then some suggestions that might be popping up. Anyways, there are testers who look at new bugs, but they aren't going to be able to go through the entire game each time. This game, let's face it, this game takes like 3 or 4 days to go through. And this is the disadvantage the testers have. And then you realize that maybe those 20 or 30 testers at Ubisoft, the 10 and 15 at Massive, and then maybe there are a few at Microsoft who are going through this, or PlayStation, because they have their own test departments that do submission tests. And that's still, it's less than 60 people, 70 people that are going through these games, and that's not enough to find these huge exploits. Some of them, granted, you should have found. I mean, they're not off the hook for this by any stretch of the means. There are things in the game that are bugs and people exploiting that should have been found. Stuff like the mobile cover, like that stuff, like that really should have been found. I mean, if you're using mobile cover, you need to throw that stuff. There are people out there that test game boundaries, and that's all they do. They just run into walls all day. That's part of being a tester. That's what you do. You look for cracks. You look for ways to get through. I honestly don't think anybody on those QA teams actually looked for a way to get through any of the doors or anything like that. Anyways, with the hot fix for the incursion coming out when it did, the glitch broke the game because there were people who utilized the glitch to get their gear score up. And today, even the community manager from Ubisoft was playing with a guy who had a 222 gear score. And he said, no, this guy's legit. He didn't glitch. Bull. That is complete bull. Anybody with over a 220 gear score went through that and glitched, because that challenge mode is way too hard for somebody with a 200 gear score. You have to run the hard. See, this is the way they planned it out, most likely. You run the hard, you get your gear score up to 214, and then you attempt the challenge mode. It's a progression-based system, and that's the way it's going to go. It's not going to be like, whoa, 199 just getting through the challenge. No, it's difficult to do, and it's not going to happen. So, anyways, players see an option. They spend a few hours trying to get through the challenge mode and use the glitch and get easy loot and move on to other things. It's really all about the time and the content. And I hate to bring up a comparison, but when Destiny releases a new raid, people aren't looking to exploit it right away. They're looking to beat it. Why? Because the content's engaging. The level layouts don't feel like they were half-assed, and there are multiple parts to it. It's not just thrown into the game. There are multiple segments in a Destiny raid, and the first free update that Destiny did was Vault of Glass, and that was amazing. This is garbage compared to that. Like, I would throw this in the trash and reset and just say, okay, we made a mistake, public. We're going to go ahead and fix it and bring you a new incursion and actually spend a little time to work on it. Because, like, I would have been happy with a horde mode. And I've written suggestions probably 100 times in the forums that say, hey, you have the Empire State Building. It's a huge monument in the middle of the Dark Zone, and you're not using it? Like, you have 120 floors that you can use for a horde mode type thing where you have to regress up to the top, and it would have been an amazing idea that they used, but nobody there had the foresight. Why? Because this isn't like some company that's based in America. This is a company that's based overseas. They have no idea what New York is. Like maybe they sent a couple people out to New York to take pictures, but this company isn't something that's based in New York. They're based in Sweden or wherever it is overseas. So, the short-mindedness of it, there's plenty. Like, I mean, when was the last time you went inside any of the buildings inside Destiny that were actual landmarks? There's no library. There's no, there's no museums. There's no parks. There, stuff like that. I mean, it's just the same basic blueprint city over and over again. The only thing that you couldn't even get inside Grand Central. They have a level called Grand Central Station. You don't even go inside. What is that? Like, this game is so poorly thought out that they have some great landmarks that they could work with and make some engaging, awesome missions, and they piss it all away because they don't. I have no idea why, honestly. Ubisoft needs to be asking these questions internally. So, anyways, this is turned into more of a rant, but back to the glitching. I understand the salty players who aren't doing the glitch. It's not easy to do for one. There are glitches now that take 4 players. It takes time. It's boring. It's not for everybody. And if you don't have 4 friends to do it, it sucks. But, if you don't have 4 friends, it's going to take you or 3 friends, sorry. It's going to take you a long time to this. There's 2 sides to this. You either do the glitch or you can't, and you complain about it. And most of the people that are complaining about it are suffering from a bad case of FOMO. And if you don't know what FOMO is, it's fear of missing out. And they are missing out. They're missing out on a lot of content because they're not going to be able to do the content because there's these a-holes that are so super geared that they're just going into the dark zone, killing everybody, and ruining the game for the people that aren't glitching. I, for one, don't like that. That's not something that I can get on board with. But anyways, I got to wrap this up. I'm going over time. Anyways, I don't condone glitching, but I don't care either. I'm pretty well geared myself. I have 350,000 DPS. I'm not a glass cannon, but I'm also not, super. I could probably get over 400,000 DPS. Anyways, I don't care. People who are glitching, and people who aren't. Leave it at that. Anyways, there are those who refuse to do, and I'm in that camp. It's not worth my time to do it. I didn't glitch the incursion. I don't condone it, but I don't care. So I'm pretty well off. If you want to spend your time glitching in an instance, then that's what makes you happy. That's how you play the game, and we're done with that. I personally would rather have fun and play it the way that it's made to be played, and that's my preference. Same thing with going rogue and running out the timer in the back of the dark zone. I don't think for a minute I had a blast doing that, even though I had my friends with me. It is boring. There's nothing to do. You just sit there. And then, what's really great, this is the best part, is when the morality police show up. And the morality piece are the guys who hate glitchers. But you know what they do? They glitch to get into so that they can try and ruin what you're doing. And so that doesn't make you any better. Like, it makes you the same. You're glitching to get glitchers. Like, that, you basically just did what you're trying to, somehow be the morality police and enforce. So, just, you know how to do it. You're a glitcher and exploiter. Don't try and cover it up by, trying to go and enforce justice. You're basically the same as them. And that's, you're admitting that that's what you are. All right, so here's the next step in this. This is where, we need to see the game go. Honestly, the breaking issues need to be hot fixed right away. Those that aren't can wait. The bigger issue I have is the QA and massive at Ubisoft. And I don't do this lightly. There are some gaps that need to be addressed. Exploits are one thing, but bugs like deleted characters are things that should have been found. Unless they're testing on one platform, it would appear even the QA at Microsoft missed this. I have questioned Ubisoft's ability to QA games for a while, mostly since Assassin's Creed Unity, but even before that, Far Cry 3 multiplayer was a piece of garbage. I loved the gameplay. I loved it. But it was garbage because the server issues, and Ubisoft has always had server issues, and I made fun of this game before it was released saying, oh, there's going to be so many server issues. Yeah, we all know who Delta and Mike are. They're basically friends with Alex. They're always dead. you know, what I would propose is building several public test servers, allowing people from the community to go on there, test out the game, look for bugs and exploits, and fix them before they're even released. I would join up with that. Members of the community will back this idea and play the game based on this concept. They'll go into the community servers just to see what the next portions are, to play, pre-play the incursions. And those of us who know how to find these glitches and stuff like that will come to the rescue and save the day. So, and we'll get these fixed before they go out to the general public. So, all right. So pretty much that's it. I'm done talking about this. Anyways, I hope to continue this discussion in the comments. Please, and hope to keep this conversation civil. If you're calling people names and stuff, please don't do that. You're just gonna get your comment deleted. And let's try and resolve the issues, make a better game, and help rebuild the community that, for lack of a better term, has become the actual division. No pun intended. Anyways, that's been my time. As always, I am Mountie Carl. This has been a Division video on Gun Brothers Gaming. Thank you for watching. Drop a like if you agree, or drop a comment if you disagree, and we'll try and answer it in the next Division video. I'll pick some questions out from the next from the comment section and try and answer them if you have questions or anything like that. And as always, Agent out.